Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Hey guys, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa. You could call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR pod.
And we are going to be doing a highly requested episode today.
A Reddit one, our favourites. Yay!
We're going to be answering the dilemmas of people on Reddit who didn't ask us for their opinion, but
Basically,
needed it anyway.
We're going to get it.
So, which one do we start with?
Should we start with the...
Yes.
Okay. Love that. All right, let's start with that. Am I the asshole?
Okay.
Because I just love saying that. It just sounds so good to my ears.
Go on.
Okay, so it's a bit long, so I'll try and read it as quickly as possible. So, am I the asshole for calling my co-worker a nosy bitch after she kept insisting to know my husband's salary? So, my husband and I were both 33 and have been together since college. Over the years, he's had quite the career trajectory. He's basically a PM and makes 10 times what I make. Oof. And I make a really good salary, and we've grown wealthier, and we've learned that as we get wealthier, people get nosier. So my co-worker, who's 25, is new, and she already has quite the reputation for being chatty, catty, gossipy, and that's where you go to get the gist. You can just tell she craves wealth and status. She wears a bunch of flashy designer items and is always asking the ladies around the office which of the men are single. Last Friday, our office hosted an afternoon happy hour. She approached and asked me how me and my husband's recent vacation to Europe went. I told her it went well and briefly summarised what we did. Then the conversation went something like...
Should I be her?
This. Okay.
So what does your husband do?
He works in finance.
Oh, wow. He must make a ton to be taking you on all these lavish vacations. I hope you don't mind me asking, but how much does he make a year?
Yes, we're very lucky that he makes a good salary.
Oh, come on. I won't tell anyone. How much does he make a year? Millions.
I'd rather not say, but it's up there.
What, he doesn't allow you to give the exact number or something?
No, I just prefer not to say.
He thinks the stuck up one would be the one with the money, not the one without.
Oh, hell no. No, that's not what it says. That's what I would have said. So, you should learn how to take no for an answer and when to quit being a nosy bitch. It's a valuable lesson. So then I smiled and I walked away. And later on, I had a few co-workers reach out to me and say that she was crying and left early and that I should apologise for calling her a rude name. I refused. I told my mum and she said I was too rude to the new girl as well and that she's young and might not fully understand salary talk. I think she's old enough. Husband is fully on my side, but said maybe I should fake apologise for the sake of office politics, which I somewhat agree with. But still, am I the asshole?
No. That's my take. That's it. I think that's nosy. I mean, you don't call someone a bitch at work.
Yeah, you can't. You should have just said you're being really nosy and just left it there. It's the bitch that made it easy for people to then now take the 25-year-old side.
Yeah, because now you've lost the upper ground.
Basically.
But the person was being like, that's mad. Imagine saying like, are you not allowed to say, does he make millions? Like, as if I wouldn't even ask my friends that. They probably tell me, but I wouldn't even ask them that unprovoked.
I feel like if she was asking about the woman's salary and like, oh, you know, I've enjoyed your trajectory and I want to someday be where you are. Like,
what does that look like financially?
Yeah, what does that look like? That sort of conversation, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. Like,
also have some class. Like, if you want to know what your colleague's husband makes, you find out what he does and then you Google.
Exactly. You find his LinkedIn, you see how recent the job is and see if the job advert is still online.
Exactly. And then if it's not, you go on Glassdoor, you do some estimation, you Google it and you get a ballpark. You don't need to know the exact number. It's true. If you're trying to understand if it's millions, you could probably figure that out.
It's true. And also, like, now in America, they've got the salary transparency thing, so you could probably find something online. But yeah, if it's just the bitch part, I think, for me.
Yeah.
If she said stop being nosy.
How should she have done it?
She should have just said, like, I feel really uncomfortable with you asking me this question. You're not asking me about me. You're asking me about my husband who does not work for this company. And in all honesty, it has nothing to do with you, what he earns. And that's it. Like, stop asking me because I'm going to walk away now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's legit what she should have done.
Yeah.
And then the other person feels silly, and there's no way, because she just victimized herself.
Now you can't come and talk to me without feeling awkward.
Yeah, but the person had literally victimized. Like, why is she crying? Like, she's literally crying. So now you look like the fact that she was the one in the wrong now.
Now the other one looks like the bitch.
Yeah. Proper Karen move though.
It is. Like, there's no need to cry, but she's 25, so.
No.
I mean, I knew at 25 not to ask those questions. Like, I could tell who had rich partners and who didn't. But I feel like maybe context, like maybe they had some form of relationship. Like maybe she's gone to her for gist before. Like she said, she had a reputation around the.
But
how does this girl get the gist about others? Like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Some people are probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just can't stand up to it. Like, okay, they just give the information.
Yeah.
I think there's a sense of entitlement there that girl
there
was
is.
definitely
That's
wrong.
wild.
But is she the asshole?
I don't think so.
No, but it's not the way you should have managed it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call her an asshole. She is a nosy bitch.
Yeah. Do you think this is probably from the UK then? Is nosy like a British thing to call someone you're so nosy? Is that I don't think I've ever heard an American say nosy.
That's a good point. I'm not too sure. I feel like maybe it depends on the state. You know, some places
you're good at American accent. Say nosy.
I am not doing that on this mic. But yeah, like I don't know. But yeah.
What do you think about talking about salaries in general at work? How do you approach it?
Salaries in general,
not someone's partner. That's always off limits.
I mean, I'm in HR, so if I need to see a salary, I'll see it.
if you're not in HR or you're not in that part of HR, because not everyone in HR gets to see everything.
That's true. As in, like, I feel like you should only be wanting to see people's salaries if one, they're your peer, or they're on the career path that you want to do. I feel like if it's the career path, you should try and have a conversation with that person rather than trying to find out behind their back. If you have a good enough relationship with them, and they don't have to give you an exact number, like it can be a ballpark. If it's a peer, you need to find out that number.
How do you ask somebody? How do you actually ask someone? Like, you have to have the relationship. Like,
you have to.
That's the first thing, and you can't be the relationship cannot be because you're trying to understand the salary.
Yeah. It can't be.
And if it is, you have to
don't do
defer
it.
the conversation.
Abort. Yeah, no, you have to already have that rapport. Yeah. Like I've worked with individuals where like they weren't my manager, but they were peers with my manager, and we even to this day like we have a really good relationship. So it was easy for me to say, "Oh, what you on?" And she just said it. Like it didn't mean anything because we have that relationship. So if you don't try it.
Yeah.
Go down the strategic route of like doing some research.
Yeah, and also I think it helps to explain why you want to know. So like when I worked somewhere, it was me and another manager from another part of the business, and I wanted to know if like she also wanted to know if her salary was competitive, and she'd been there a few more years than I had, and she had been promoted into manager where I'd been hired at manager. And then I was like, do you mind if I ask you like what you're on? Because we were having a conversation where you're talking around it because no one ever wants to break the ice. And I was like, obviously if you don't feel comfortable, that's absolutely fine. And then she told me, because I said, oh, I'm on this, but I don't mind, blah, blah. And then she just shared hers as well. So as long as you're willing to volunteer the information as well.
Yeah, I think that helps when you say what you're on as well.
But you can't be like doing bluff. Like if you're the one initiating the conversation, you need to be willing to share the information.
Yeah.
And then like with that particular person, she then shared, and she was on like a little bit more than I was, which was a nice situation because she'd been there longer and all of that stuff. So, but it helps to like, if you volunteer the information as well. You can't be trying to find out what other people are not volunteering. Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, I agree.
I used to hate those people at school as well. You know, and they'd be like, what'd you get?
Oh,
and then you tell them, and then they wouldn't tell you.
Weird.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I know. But I do think, I'm all for finding out and asking about salaries. I think more people should do it. Like we've said it before, like the UK is very reserved when it comes to speaking about money in general, particularly with salaries, because, you know, people don't want to be looked at differently and all this stuff. But I feel like when you work in like the same, like if you're in, for example, if you're in HR, you can't compare your salary to somebody in marketing. Do you know what I mean? Depending on the company that it is. So like, don't do that. Like, but if it fits in your field and industry and all of that, then definitely.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than trying to, like, when employees try to benchmark themselves against someone else and they don't even understand really what that person's role is.
Like,
it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, you have to compare yourself to other people in the same, like, department.
But also boundaries. So when people are saying stuff to you that you don't like, make sure you call it out without calling them a nosy bitch.
Basically. Moral of the story.
Don't call someone a nosy bitch.
Cool. What else have we got?
I have one about... Okay, it's titled Work Advice. That's it. Question mark. Okay. I work for a government office. Recently, all the staff in my department quit. We have been in the process of finding new staff, but I only managed to fill one position out of 4. As a department manager, I'm supposed to cover all aspects of the department work. However, we are open 7 days a week. Since we don't have the staff to cover it, I have been working 7 days a week for the last several weeks.
7 days?
And I'm not going to have any time off until we hire and train new employees. I love my job, but I feel like I'm getting so tired that I don't care about anything in my life at this point. My supervisors are expecting me to be here at all times. The sad part is I'm on a salary and not even getting paid overtime or time off in lieu. Also, I don't seem to get any recognition for these efforts and it just kills me. I don't want to look for a new job, but I don't know how to handle this situation in the best possible way. So it's basically he or she is being worked to the bone.
But like, they can't afford to lose you. So what are you doing? Like, why are you working weekends and burning yourself out?
7 days a week for several weeks.
Like, that company clearly doesn't care about your well-being.
They do not care about you.
Because they'll already know that you're overstretched based on the fact that...
7 days. That means you haven't had, time off in 3 weeks? Or at least 21 days straight.
If the team has quit in numbers, that means there's people aware that you are doing more than you should. And they're making you work 7 days a week.
They need to close.
Literally.
That's what they did in COVID.
That's true.
When I call my... Anyway, I don't want to drag any company, but when I call certain companies now, they still have automated
COVID messages saying,
100%. Due to COVID, we have higher than expected call volumes.
Yeah.
Like, they can close. Like, if you don't have the staff to to open, then you need to close.
Yeah, you need to put yourself first in that situation because there's no way you should be working 7 days a week.
It can't be the UK
doing the job of many people based on the fact that people have quit. Like, what are you doing? You need to call in sick so they can see it crumble.
They actually do, and to see what happens. Yeah. They're not going to fire you. Come on, they literally have
no one. Yeah,
nobody.
Yeah, so I feel like they're not leveraging the situation. The business has leveraged it and using it and knowing. They probably know, like, it's all a game. They probably know, oh, this person wants to be promoted, so let's just continue to push them without the promotion, without the extra money. Like, imagine not having that many people working
and you're not even being paid.
And you're not even being paid properly, knowing they're saving money right now on those other people not being there.
One thing, even if you're a salaried worker, there's always an allowance, a stipend, a daily allowance, or something that they can add on your salary. Even if you're working in a different location, if you're working unsociable hours, if you're working, time and a half, like, there's always something that they can do. So from when you're supposed to be working maybe 5 days a week and you're now working 7 days a week for the same money, it's criminal. And they know what you're doing. So
that's crazy.
That's
ain't
crazy.
No way.
You just have to say no.
Ain't no way.
You just have to say, these are your hours and those are the hours that you're going to do. And it's not like even though it's supposed to be a short-term thing, depending on, you say you work at a government department, number one, there's going to be clearances, there's going to be checks, you need to hire and train new employees. You've got 1 out of 4 at the moment. That's going to be a while. It's not sustainable.
I'm partly blaming the person who's written the dilemma, though, because it's like,
you're an idiot.
Yeah, like, why are you allowing them to put the company on your shoulders?
I know people like this. I've worked with people like this before.
So do I. I have friends like this.
And it results in sickness.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't make sense because your body will eventually shut down. Like, one of my really good friends, like, breaking out. I think I said it last week. Yeah, breaking out in hives from the stress of work. And then as soon as they went on holiday, that hives disappeared. Yeah. Like, your body, if you don't stop,
your body will stop you.
Your body will stop for you, or your body will do something.
And it might not recover to the same thing that it was at before.
Exactly. So you need to do what you need to do for yourself. Because working 7 days and not even being... You shouldn't be doing it, full stop. But then not being recognised... You're not allowed to do that anyway. Yeah, working regulations.
Maybe you actually might have opted out.
Yeah, but even if you opt
but you can't opt out of that part. You can only opt out for 48 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you'd still need a break. Yeah. So it must
one
not be
day
here.
a week.
Yeah, so it must not be here. But it's still terrible, and I feel like that person just needs to shut it down. Shut it down.
There we go. Your Gen Z.
Say Ella, babe. No, don't say babe. Like, just say. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You are. But you wouldn't do American accent and say nosy. Love Island's gone.
I know.
Love Island's gone. Anyway,
I'm watching Love Island US though, but
is it good?
Yeah, I started straight away.
They look hella thirsty.
I didn't like how now it's gone viral. Everyone wants to jump on my wave when I've been watching since day one, but it's all good.
Are you trying to gatekeep Love Island?
I am.
You're mad.
Let's move on.
Yeah, you need to shut it down.
Shut it down.
Yeah, otherwise you'll just get sick. I think
Basically.
that's it. I was going to say something as well. It was about on this. What was I going to say?
Burnout?
No, not about burnout. About closing the shop. I don't know. But yeah, calling sick.
That company still survive even when their MVP.
It's a government department. They'll be fine.
They will be fine. No one can tell when the government's working or not.
They will literally be fine. Do you want to do the one about...
Even Kamala went to see Renaissance Beyonce on tour, and it's you that wants to do 7 days a week.
Did you see the clip of Meg at Beyonce's tour?
She's been a few times now.
Oh, has she?
Yeah.
I saw her. She was standing next to Jay-Z. She was singing her heart out, and Jay-Z looked at her like, "Wow, you really like my wife, innit?"
That's funny.
Even Jay-Z was in the audience like a fan.
I know, he's there like every night.
I love that for them. It's a proper family affair.
Yeah, I mean, money is there, innit? Sweet.
He ain't gonna work.
He ain't following her for no reason. So there's another one. There's not really any detail in it, but we thought it would be good to speak about based on, the emotions and psychology of how people feel when they have to deal with HR issues, going through HR issues.
Especially when they're not HR people.
Yeah, especially when not HR people. So it says, I'm dealing with my first major personnel problem as a people manager. So it's been a draining situation, and even though none of it is my fault, I keep questioning myself. I've had a lot of anxiety around the situation and dread my mornings now.
I think that's quite normal. Well, I don't know about dreading your mornings.
I would say like at least 80% of the managers that I deal with when I have an ER case, they display nerves, they display anxiety. I've had people cry in disciplinaries. I've had managers cry in disciplinaries when having to give a sanction. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with you, man?
This is not on code, man. This is not on code.
I was so shocked. Like, I was like, nah, this isn't happening. Like,
but I had my first one recently. Do you remember?
You did say, yeah.
I had some, and I was shocked because I had someone cry in, someone cry in an ER meeting that was the manager, and I couldn't believe it.
It's crazy.
And you know what? It really caught me by surprise because they kept saying, "I'm so anxious about it. I'm really nervous." Like, and you just encourage them. Oh, you'll be fine. Like, it's never nice to do, but don't worry, I'm here to support you. Like, I literally had to step in and take forward the rest of it because there was tears. Like, I just couldn't believe it.
It's mad. Do you know what it is with managers? They think of the things that they think HR should have at the front of their mind, but don't necessarily. So it's like, oh, but they have kids and they've got a wife or they've got a... I mean, I hear it. I get it. I really do. But
that's not the issue.
Literally, that is not the issue. And that's not what the business wants. So can you read the scripts and get to it?
The script. Do you know what the script? Yeah, I said that one that I had the other day. Honestly, they couldn't even get through the script because it was too much.
Yeah, I think when they have relationships with the employee as well,
small companies is the worst.
Oh, it's so difficult for them, honestly. And I do get it, and I sympathize with them.
But it's the job.
Yeah, but no one. I feel like when a lot of people,
either.
It's true. But I feel like when a lot of people become people managers, this is the part that is not really explained to them in detail. I feel like there's an assumption that HR do all of this stuff for them, which is why they do come like a blank canvas to you and just want all the information.
And they actually want you to do everything.
Yeah, because they're not told that actually as a manager, there's going to be a time where you may have to dismiss someone. Someone on your team may misbehave and you may have to do a disciplinary. Someone's underperforming and they're a really nice person, but now you have to performance manage them and potentially manage them out the business. Like, they're not really told about that stuff in detail. It's all like quite mythical. And then when it happens, they're like,
it's like, so I just tell HR, right? HR will do it.
They're like, nervous.
And also just the assumption that you're gonna, like, imagine if you think this is gonna be an unpleasurable experience for your team member and it's not gonna be
and then
nice.
Now you want to cry.
Not even that, now you want to cry, but now if you think hearing it from you is gonna be bad, what do you think it will be like hearing it from HR?
It's true.
It's gonna be awful for them. Like, it's not kind.
I think managers think it's better coming from HR than them, because they think it dissolves them with accountability of what's being said. But I think if it comes from the manager and there's genuine care there, it's better.
And also sometimes it's
because I will be very straightforward. Listen,
it's better that they do it and they can know that it's actually not coming from a place of
HR.
Yeah.
Of like, standard, like.
Yeah. What I'll say is that recently, one of my clients had to go through like a redundancy process, and we had to do like, unfortunately, quite a few, and we didn't tell the managers until the last possible moment, and that's because the people will be staying on for some time, and so the reason we didn't involve them, like the senior leadership did it but the direct managers didn't, and that's so that we could be like, we didn't actually share it with your managers, and so that they can feel free to, they feel more comfortable to work with their managers, and now like they can't be upset with their managers, and they actually are more likely to have good relationships with their managers. And that works pretty well because they're going to be, it's not like a redundancy where you're going now. It's like you're going in the future.
Yeah.
So that worked quite well. And to be honest, all the managers were pretty happy that they didn't have to do it. When we eventually did tell them. But I think it's just about knowing like what the actual outcome is going to be, not the outcome of the disciplinary, but like, I think people think, oh, the person is going to feel this way, the person's going to, let's say it's a redundancy, the person is going to be unemployed, they're going to not be able to feed their family.
They overthink it on their behalf.
And it's like, actually, a lot of the people will be quite practical about it. And I always say in redundancies, most people go on to do bigger and better things. And with a disciplinary, this is just how it is. Like, the person has done something wrong, or at least there's an allegation that they have, like, you need to deal with it. Like, but they overthink it more than sometimes the actual employee would.
Yeah. I've had some managers, like, I've done an investigation and now I'm talking to the manager who's going to hear the disciplinary, like they're the main person. And some of the questions or pushback I get, it's like, hello, they touched someone's body part without permission, like, and now you're here saying to me, oh, but they said they had drank too much and they didn't mean it, or oh, but their wife is sick, or this, that. It's like, no, like, stop. People
think that life circumstances mitigate actions, but they don't.
And like, I always get like quite firm with some managers because I'm like, my job is to fact find. Everything I'm telling you now, it's a fact. I'm not making it up. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. So right now, what I'm hearing is, let's just put all the values and culture of the company we currently work for and the facts and just go about how you feel about this individual. And that's what a lot of managers do. And it's like, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's because they feel guilty about it. But and also sometimes I think the worst ones are when the managers feel bad about it because there's something that they should have done earlier. So for instance, let's say your employee had persistent lateness and you haven't dealt with it. Now it's gotten to such a terrible extent that we're now having to go down this process because you didn't address it properly. You just said, oh mate, come on, you can't be late again, blah blah. And now
too many managers like that.
Yeah, now we're going down a formal process and you're feeling like you should have dealt with it better. So now you're trying to mitigate that by doing something else. But this is where we are now. This is where we are now. Or when you didn't nip something in the bud that's gone on, or you heard about it before, or whatever it is. Sometimes when managers feel like they haven't done the best, like they feel bad, as they should. But we are where we are now. They did what they did.
Yeah. Managers need to chill with that.
How can they actually feel less stressed about it?
I think it's hard. Like, for me personally, not so much now, but before, I do a lot of role play with managers because some of them just need it. They need to practice. They need to say things out loud. Like, you can't just give those managers the scripts and then wait for the day to come. You do get so. I had one that was behaving like Judge Judy. It was a Zoom one. I had to message and say, please calm down. It's okay. Like, I thought he was so happy-go-lucky. Then when we got into the thing, he was like, on December, I said, excuse me, like, please.
Do you know what? Yeah, like sometimes I think, like some people have been waiting their whole life.
100%.
They've been waiting their whole life because they start using, obviously when you're doing disciplinary and stuff, you might use the word like allegation. But listen, this is not a court of law. They'll be like, so the allegation is and you allegedly, and I'm like, listen, this is not a
literally
court of law.
He had his Judge Judy moment. I said, what is this guy doing? Like, this is crazy.
Oh, you get the robotic ones.
He blindsided me. Yeah. That just can't even look at the person, just looking down and all
I
that
hate
stuff.
those. I hate that.
Yeah, but I think, like doing role, if you're in HR or you're in ER, I think doing role play with managers is really helpful for those people that you spot being, it's their first one, or they're uncomfortable, or they have a really good relationship with that person. I think also telling the skip level, so telling the manager's manager, what's going on, so that there's a different type of support, because HR, we're not all people managers, so we might not necessarily get how that person is feeling, because the skip will be closer to the individual who's going through XYZ, like the manager and the employee. So I think it's important, where possible, to involve the manager and give the skip level and give them that visibility. I think we're really good at giving, like, this sounds really dramatic, but we're really good at giving like EAP support and stuff to the employees. But sometimes, manager,
it's true.
Sometimes
it's true.
They need it.
And for disciplinaries, I sometimes ask, but redundancy, I always ask the manager, like, how are you dealing with it? But sometimes for disciplinaries, like, you can just think, oh, it's not.
Yeah, you think they're right.
But for redundancy, it's really hard message to give. Disciplinary is a bit easier because, like, depending on how severe it is. But if it's probably likely to be a warning, like, they can kind of get over it. But when you feel like you've taken on responsibility for, like, someone losing their job, it can be pretty hard. And we should be giving that well-being support to managers. And as a HR person, what I learned recently is listen to people. Because I had that manager who was like, oh, I'm really nervous about it. And I just go, you'll be fine. Like, don't worry, it'll be fine. Like, don't worry. Like, it's never nice. And then when they cried in the meeting, I said, okay, I should have listened. I should have done more. And that's my learning. Because I should have done more. But I just thought, everyone always says that. They're nervous, isn't it? But I didn't realise the level. Until it was too late.
I think that's important.
So you need to be listening.
No, it's true.
And if you're not comfortable as a manager, you need to also say, because for instance, that could be available to you, like doing some role play or asking, can we go through it?
Yeah.
When you're doing a role play, are you being a good employee or a bad employee? Like, what kind of employee? Are you just kind of being reasonable?
I usually give them, like, this is how it could go, or this is how it could go. Depending on what I know about the employee, but I'll give like 2 different.
So you give them an easy one if it all goes to plan, and then you give another one if they are difficult.
Yeah, like if someone's going to push back. Yeah.
Well, I don't agree with that allegation.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll do both, but I'll step in the meeting as well, like if I need to. But anyways, like I think like listen to managers,
support them.
If they need like EAP support, if they need general like coaching. They've never done it before.
And if you're a manager, ask for all of those things.
Literally, and give your manager or give the skip level like visibility as well. And just make sure they've had like any trainings that you have.
Like, training is so important.
Yeah.
And not at the last moment. Like sometimes you do have to do it because like when I was working.
Oh, I'm sorry. I remember what I was going to say now. I was just going to say, like, not to scare managers, but I try to work with managers in a way where they understand that they need to follow this process in order to avoid something later down the line. Like, don't mess up now, because if you mess up now, you're going to cause
extend the process.
You're going to cause more work for everybody involved. But sometimes I let them like slip a little bit because I want them to understand that the next time this happens, this won't happen again.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes you have to do that with some of them.
I was going to say, if you're the manager, if you're someone that has to deal with an ER issue, sometimes I think it's fine to be like honest with the people that you haven't done it before. Because,
100%.
Because I think sometimes managers, they feel like if if they're doing a disciplinary or if they're doing a grievance or a redundancy or any sort of ER thing, they have to kind of put up this facade of like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say to like the employee, like, oh, I have got a script here. It is my first time doing one of these. I just want to make sure that I cover all the points. So apologies if at some point, but just stop me if something's not clear. Do you know what I mean? And then do I have to feel like you're acting? You can just be honest, because I think part of it is coming from, what if I do it wrong? But it's okay. You've got HR to pack you up. If HR's there, and then also just being honest with the employees so that you don't feel like you got to do it perfect. Obviously, making sure that you do the right things.
Yeah, but it's true, because don't let me find out it was your first time and I didn't know. I can't beat you, but there's other things I can do.
It's important, yeah. Don't act like you have to be like, oh yeah, I'll be fine, and then afterwards you're asking like certain questions.
Yeah.
And also it's important because, you know, sometimes if you, depending on what your role is in the ER process, if you're not trained and then it goes left, the fact that you weren't trained can be like an issue. So let's say you're the hearing manager on a grievance or something, and you don't have the training, or you're the investigating manager on a grievance and you don't have trainings on how to do an investigation, then if it goes left, now the person is saying that the person who did the investigation was faulty because you didn't know how. Yeah. So it's important to put your hand up and say, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. Can I have some support?
Agreed.
Okay, last one. Is my boss toxic? My boss won't let any staff members schedule a creative collab session or a simple meeting with each other without her approval. Some fellow co-workers and I decided to vote on a day and time to get together once a month for about an hour for a non-mandatory creative collaboration session and any help or advice we might need for upcoming projects. We're a remote team, so meeting or collaboration times are the only time we get to bond as a team. My boss got angry and made us cancel the meeting and said we're not allowed to get together without her approval. So I straight up asked, so I'm not allowed to talk to my fellow co-workers or get their advice or opinions at all without your approval? She said, correct. That is considered a staff meeting, and staff meetings must be approved first, and you're not authorized to schedule staff meetings. She also changed our policy so that everything now has to be done via email, and she has to be CC'd on every single email that staff send. Am I the arsehole for thinking this is inappropriate, or is my boss toxic?
Your boss is toxic, babes.
That's so toxic. Why would you even want that?
And a toxic someone.
That's even micromanaging.
So where is their boss?
Yeah, this is the snitching situation.
Yeah, 100%. Where is their boss?
Well, it depends on the culture, because maybe that's the. But usually these people are lone wolves. They usually are pretending that they're a good manager as well.
I agree. Yeah, no one knows what's going on the ground.
Yeah.
100% I'd snitch. 100%.
I would 100% say you have to go skip level.
Yeah, I'm going to the skip level, and I'm saying, did you know I'm going to put... I was like, oh,
why would you want to stifle collaboration?
I'll be like, oh, did you know? I just thought, some of the processes in place, they kind of create some roadblocks. So I just wanted to speak to you a little bit about, the reasoning behind it. I have spoken to my manager, but it'd be great to hear from you.
That's even more diplomatic than I would go.
Hello, I would start like that. I'll play dumb so that when it gets there, I'm like, oh,
That's a start, but you have to go alone, because if it's more than two of you, it's now a staff meeting.
Yeah. No, I'd go on my own. But definitely I'd snitch, because you're micromanaging, and you're being toxic, and you're being a control freak, and you're being a bitch.
That doesn't make sense. And also, as a manager, why would you want to do that?
Yeah, why would you want to give yourself that extra work?
CC on every email on a team. It's not even one or two people. You're a team, and they want to meet and do the right thing.
When you have people who are very competent to know what to do.
I tell people to take me off CC. I'll be like, I don't need to be on that. Thank you though, but I don't need to be on this.
I'm working with someone at the moment who puts their manager on every single email.
But do you think their manager wants that?
No. But it's weird, because sometimes I know the manager doesn't, and I will say minus X person. Or
moving Lola to BCC.
Yeah, exactly. To save their inbox.
Yeah, save your inbox.
You know those
save
ones.
You.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, sorry, I'd go straight to the skip level. I don't even have anything else to say on that. Straight to skip level. If that doesn't work, then I'm leaving.
Because you can't work with
you can't change that. So
that's crazy. I would definitely go to their manager, and I don't even think I would be so diplomatic about it. I'll be like, look, I just wanted to make you aware of some challenges that we're having as a team and get your advice on how to manage it. Because I know that you deal so well with, and it's really bad. No, did it say she, or have I seen that? Yeah, she. I'm really having some issues dealing with Sally, because, you know, blah, blah, for these reasons. And I just wanted to get your advice on how I should approach it, and have this conversation, because I know that I think you're quite a good communicator, and I really admire your communication style. So how would you deal with that? And obviously then I'm asking for advice, but at the same time, I'm alerting you to the fact that somebody in your team has gone rogue.
Literally.
And then the manager can then decide.
You can do what you want to do with that information.
Exactly. And usually they would tell you how to approach it. And then if that doesn't work, you can obviously go back to them, and then they will escalate it, especially if they're not a mad somebody. If they are also a mad somebody and says anything along the lines of, well, you know, that's just how she likes to manage her team.
Time to leave.
I completely, pack your bag, pack your load and go.
Time to leave.
Pack your load and go.
Time to
Or just have the sessions and don't tell her.
Well, that's what she tried to do.
Yeah, I know, but obviously she found out somehow. But I reckon she'll be checking that kind of person will check your diary 100%. For mutual.
Yeah, 100%. Any private calendar. Oh, why is this private?
Can you open your calendar so I can see what you're doing?
Yeah, those managers, like, nah.
Who do you share your calendar with?
Who do I share it with?
Yeah.
No one.
Did your manager have it?
No.
I don't share mine with anybody either.
Yeah, no. What for?
You can see free and busy time. That's all you need to know.
Exactly. Why do you need to know what's in my calendar?
I've had people like, oh, can I see? Anyway, I've worked a couple places. People like, my manager's like, can I see in your diary? I'm like, but why? Because sometimes, why do you see where I am, what I'm doing all the time?
Yeah, like sometimes like things in my calendar are free, but it's just a reminder and stuff like that. But it might be especially what I do. Sometimes I'll put like nothing confidential, but something that will prompt my memory about something have to do with a case and stuff. So it's like, why do you need to see my calendar?
Yeah,
it's fine.
But I've had managers be like, I need to see like where you are.
Yeah, that's wild. No, you can't do that. No.
I don't even share it with the people people that I manage.
Yeah, what for though?
Yeah, you just need to know. And if you need to know where I am, if something can be moved, you can just ask me.
Yeah, I'm free. You can Slack me. You can put time in.
What if you're managing someone? Do you want to see their calendar?
No, what do I need to see your calendar for?
Yeah, same. I'm not interested.
Yeah, like if I message you, reply. If I need to put in time with you, I'll put in time when it's free. If it's urgent, I'll tell you it's urgent. Like, oh, your calendar's blocked out. Like, do you have any time on this day? Do you know what I mean? Like, why do I need to? That's normal.
I don't like sharing calendars with anybody.
Yeah, I feel like people who like want to see people's calendars, unless it's a type of role where it's really necessary, I don't know. But then some people enjoy sharing their calendar. Yeah,
some people I've shared my calendar with you, so just feel free to.
Yeah, and you'll see everything. You'll see like, oh, diabetes appointment,
mate, so
12-week scan. You'll see everything.
Yeah, but some people like it. Like I had a manager who just was so busy. She was just like, my diary's like, she just opened her diary because, you know, so if I message you, you're not going to respond to me quickly. So I think she knew that. So she would be like, I'll just look in my diary. So I know if something can be moved. You know, one you can just talk directly to their EA or something like that. So I know if this is important or if it's not important. I know what weekly meeting it is. If I can put something over it, what's going to take priority. So like that's all right. But I hate sharing my calendar. I just think it's very invasive.
It is invasive.
I can't even put something in my own calendar.
Yeah, like leave me alone.
I had my manager share his calendar with me. Actually, it wasn't a manager, it was more like a dotted line kind of situation. And I was like, oh, I need to move something. What's this? You've got something about to call Alicia? Meeting with Alicia or something like that in your diary. Can I? He was like, oh, it's really awkward. Alicia's the lady that does my facial. And he was like, I'm sorry, I just really can't move it. He's like, I haven't had one. I'm supposed to go back every 4 weeks. I haven't had one in 5 weeks. I can't move it. And then, so that was the lady's facial.
But it's also fair because it's true. Like some things in my calendar, you might think I should be able to move it, but I can't. Like if I have like, let me not even hop myself up. But
and when people have visibility, they'll start making decisions using their priority order.
Like, so sorry, that's not always.
I was in the middle of a consultation, like a collective consultation, like maybe a couple of months ago, and one of the key people in the collective consultation, I needed her some time in her diary, and I was like, oh, you've got this meeting. I couldn't see what it was. You've got this meeting at like blah blah. Can you move? She's like, I'm so sorry, I can't. I'm doing my nails. And she was like, and I know it probably sounds ridiculous, but I haven't had them done, and it's making me feel blah.
Honestly, like,
and I was like, you don't even have to explain. You don't have to explain.
Like that's absolutely
fine. But to be honest, the other people in the organisation, they wouldn't have been like. The other men, they would have been like, so you're going out to your nails, but that's why she felt a way about it because that's why you have to put things in your diary as private. 100%. And if I share my calendar, half of the stuff in there is going to be with that padlock. You know, if you share your calendar with someone, like they can see everything.
Padlock everything.
I padlock. Yeah. I padlock things I send to other people.
Same, but like I'm in HR. Like a lot of the stuff I'm sending out has to be private. Like I have people who have those managers, and like, I don't want them to see that I'm talking to you, but they have access to my calendar. Yeah, so I'll make it private. So yeah, like,
I told you about when I've got the job. I think I said it like maybe on a podcast last year. But when I started at Deloitte, there was this thing where you could go back in time. Like the HR or the recruitment team would send put the notes of the interviewer in the interviewee in the diary, so you could see all the notes from your previous interview if you just looked in your, because nothing was locked.
That's wild.
Yeah. So then they obviously got wise to it and they started locking them. But I literally went in and read all the notes from my interview. That's insane. Because you didn't lock it. So yeah, that's our top tip, guys.
I have a friend doing a contract at Deloitte at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I had a good time there.
Yeah. HR.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I rate the HR there.
Yeah.
It's a bit
She's
narrow.
good. So.
No, not the people. The way the team
the way they do it.
Yeah. They've got a lot of like narrow. I'm a generalist, but there it's like a bit more like you might be fine because you could just do ER.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But it's too big to be a real generalist.
Cool. More of the story, don't micromanage.
Yeah, and if you've got a micromanager, snitch. And if that don't work, bounce.
Yeah, for real. Cool. That's a wrap, guys.
Bye.